Welcome to Pathfinders, our third annual fundraising event. My name is Karen Lobos. I am the proud executive director of Rainier Prep. I am one of the many Rainier Prep Pathfinders who you'll be hearing from. Whether it's your first or third time supporting our annual fundraiser, your efforts to be here as we continue to navigate a pandemic is not something we take lightly. So thank you so much for being here. We chose to name this gathering Pathfinders to represent the trailblazing community spirit of Rainier Prep students, families, staff, and partners. For us, a Pathfinder creates a path for themselves and others in the community. The Duwamish and Coast Salish peoples, past, present, and future, are the original Pathfinders of the land where we work and play at Rainier Prep. We acknowledge these original Pathfinders as we gather to celebrate the hopes and dreams of Rainier Prep's trailblazing students and families. Students and families who remind me of my own immigrant family's hopes and dreams for me, their first-gen Latina daughter. In this moment, as I stand before you, I find myself walking in two pairs of shoes. The first pair is as a proud executive director of Rainier Prep. The other, much smaller pair, is that of my 11-year-old self many years ago. My parents instilled in me that a college education was key in reaching financial stability and independence. As a Rainier Scholar student, I learned that education can also be liberatory and empowering, not just for me, but also for my communities and peers. I remember sitting at a parent meeting with my mom, where we were told that I could and should apply to advanced programs in my local public middle school and to private schools. The idea of attending a private school had never, ever crossed my mind. We had no idea that it was even an option, but Ms. Smith, who today is one of our Rainier Prep board members, and Ms. Wu made it very clear to my mom and I that it was very much an option. They walked my family through the process of applying to Explorer West Middle School, where I got to go backpacking, skiing, snowshoeing for the very first time. Years later, I wasn't sure that it was possible for me to attend the same Lakeside that Bill Gates graduated from, but I did. And now Bill Gates can say that he graduated from the same high school I did. And then a few years after that, I remember Miss Burnside letting me know about a college in California that I had never heard of named Scripps College. Now, I'm not only the first generation in my family to hold a bachelor's degree, but also the first in my family to hold a master's degree. And the first in my family to have traveled across the world, not out of need like my parents did when immigrating to the United States with the hope of a better life, but for the joy of being a Pathfinder of a completely different kind. My family, however, is not the first or only family to have big dreams for their children in the face of so many obstacles. It was the support of the mission, program, and people from Rainier Scholars throughout my academic journey that really empowered my family and me to make the choices, face the challenges, and find the new paths ahead. But they were hard choices. Leaving my diverse neighborhood middle school to attend a less diverse but more academically rigorous college preparatory private school like Lakeside was a really hard choice that came with the daily reality and challenge of navigating two worlds. I had to learn how to advocate for myself while taking the risk to be the first in my family to leave home and to leave the state of Washington to attend college in California. These are not easy choices for first-generation students to make. It takes a tremendous amount of courage to forge a path for ourselves when no one else in our family or our circle of family friends has navigated these paths before us. And these paths come with a multitude of challenges for our young students of color because they are trying to make a way for themselves in a world and society that was historically not made for them to succeed. But it's a world that we at Rainier Prep are preparing them to thrive in nonetheless. The story of our 5th to 8th grade public middle school community since our founding in 2013 rests on two things that we know. We know that in our country's education system, Black, Indigenous, students of color, and low-income students are less likely to receive the support and the resources they need to prepare for their futures. We also know that education equity is possible, and that education is a gateway for opportunity. Given this belief, our co-founders, Maggie O'Sullivan and Hong-Ni Do, With the support of our board, students, families, and staff, created what you now know as Rainier Prep. Our mission is to prepare all students to excel at four-year colleges and to become leaders in their communities. We based our mission and philosophy on the success of Rainier Scholars so that we could also offer an equitable pathway to college graduation and career success for historically underserved students of color. I understand firsthand the impact a supportive yet challenging academic community can have in the lives of students facing a number of barriers to achieving higher education, and in turn, what that means for their families and their communities. And this is why I joined Rainier Prep's founding staff back in 2015, and why I continue to work for our Rainier Prep students and families today. Currently, Rainier Prep serves 360 5th to 8th grade students every year, and over 300 alumni who are in public and private high schools throughout the greater Seattle area. So how do we do this? How do we support 5th graders so that they can one day be seniors in high school, ready to apply to college and post-high school careers? As an open enrollment public middle school, we accept any and all students through our enrollment lottery. There are no entrance or testing requirements. As long as there's a spot available, any student can attend Rainier Prep. Each year, we welcome about 90 new 5th graders. The majority of our 5th grade students come to Rainier Prep below grade level in math, not knowing all of their single-digit multiplication facts, like 2 times 3 or 4 times 5. 2 times 3 and 4 times 5. And more than 75% of our 5th graders come to Rainier Prep reading below grade level. They come to us as they are. And we, as a school, partner with them and their families. And right there is where the multiplication of their skills, sense of empowerment, and confidence begins. This is the very start of our school and family partnership, a partnership where we accompany our students in their journeys towards a college degree and a life of leadership. In providing a rigorous and supportive academic environment, we get results like this. No other public middle school in our area has these kinds of results. Few in our state and district have these kinds of results. But the hard reality is that because Rainier Prep and other public charter schools receive 20% less funding than traditional public schools, we accomplish all of this with no funding for facilities, which means we pay rent for our shared use facility that we have outgrown. Our per student funding gap compared to local traditional public schools is $2,500 per student. At 360 students, this is almost $1 million in funding just this year alone. Funding that could otherwise advance our students' success. We are truly the dream team, making magic in our classrooms with a lot less. And this is why we're here. We want all of our young people not only to maximize their own potential, but also to see, confront, and tackle society's greatest challenges as a diverse network of empowered, thoughtful, confident advocates whose voices ring loud and true. And all of that begins in our amazing classrooms with the amazing environment teachers create for students on a daily basis. So at this time, I am so proud to introduce you to Morgan Fernandez. Morgan is a founding Rainier Prep teacher who is now leading Rainier Prep with me as our school principal. She represents the collective effort of our community to build strong academic pathways through strong relationships.
We are Pathfinders. Pathfinders are innovative, passionate, empathetic, adventurous, and different. The results that you see are different. That is because those of us who work at Rainier Prep are different. We care deeply about the students and families who enter our space and seek to become part of our community. We're on the phone on Sundays, problem-solving technology. We're dropping off food to families with COVID. We are calling from school each day about missed homework. And we know who each student is and what they need. These results happen because students are invested in their learning. Their basic needs are being met, and they feel valued. We are proud to be different. We are extremely proud of these results. And at the same time, we know students are more than numbers and statistics. Our students are trailblazers. They are asking questions to astronauts and developing astro socks. They are mentoring others in language acquisition, developing meaningful lessons to celebrate their unique heritage, and soaking up every bit of knowledge they can. The education they deserve and are getting at Rainier Prep is comparable to what is provided in wealthier parts of our city, and they weren't getting that. These results show that the students who enrolled at Rainier Prep were not getting close to the opportunities offered in other areas of our city. If this makes you angry, it should. I'm livid. It is infuriating that Rainier Prep is a novel idea, a novel place for these students and families, and yet we are. And we are operating under much more constraining circumstances. Without you all, we won't exist in 5 years. Families won't have the same options, and we will be stuck inside a system that has not and is not working. I hope you've had a chance to thank a teacher in this room or wherever they are. They are exhausted, they are overworked, they are overwhelmed and anxious, and somehow they still find a way to wake up every morning with the most inspired and driven attitude. They find a way to work on the weekends and after school to plan engaging, rigorous lessons, and they find a way to connect with individual families about successes from the week. These people are freaking magicians. They're Pathfinders. And this has never been more evident than when the announcement to close schools happened on March 13th, 2020. Immediately, our teachers sprang into action. We found out about school closing, and 24 hours later, all students left with work from each class. As I said, magicians. But this did not feel like enough. So a group of teachers and I took to Instagram that night and raised $15,000 in Chromebooks to pass out to students. That felt a bit better. Then our community jumped in. Big contributors helped us with hotspots, Kindles, and additional resources to make sure rigorous learning continued online. We worked on schedules. We held informational sessions for parents. We taught ourselves Pear Deck, Kami, Padlet, Screencastify, all the things, like in a week. Even further, due to our incredible teachers and staff, our attendance remained at an incredibly high average of 93% throughout the spring of 2020 and into the 2020-2021 school year. As one student put it, if Rainier Prep blew up tomorrow, they'd find a way to have us in school within one day. I agree. We're Pathfinders. Not only did our whole school average 1.5 years of growth, students who are identified as English language learners, as well as students who qualify for special education services, made equal to or more than 1.5 years of growth. Our inclusive model transitioned in a way that did not happen elsewhere because we value all students. Along with all of our successes from last year, our students did experience unfinished learning. Their mental health was rocked, and they suffered unprecedented loneliness, loss, and uncertainty. These are very real and tangible each day we are back together in person. As we always have, we continue to reinvent our craft in order to provide the structures and supports needed for all students to feel valued and challenged. This year, we have added programming that will add to students' experiences, including a dedicated math block to review, preview, and extend skills, extra instructional staffing, as well as new tracking systems to help gauge students' mental health. The extra support of a differentiated math block will give all students an added advantage, making high school, college, career networks, and someday positions of leadership more attainable. With better flagging systems, we will know who needs additional counseling, regular one-on-one check-ins, and targeted social skills groups. We know students can't learn without being mentally focused, and these resources will allow our focus to be prioritized. These added pieces are only possible because of the support from our donors, external partners, and folks willing to take on extra in order to support our students and families. I have been in awe of what our dream team accomplished during online, hybrid, and this new in-person learning. From creating brand new, responsive curriculum, to developing strong, meaningful relationships, to dramatically altering what is possible during an impossible time. These accomplishments only come with money. And with more money comes more opportunity. So thank you for being here. If you feel so inclined, which I'm pretty sure you do, go ahead and add another zero onto that check you'll write later. Last spring, I received a text message from a student. She had just found out that I would be the new principal at Rainier Prep. After congratulating me and letting me know she thought I'd be great, she asked, "So, are you gonna be mean now?" To which I replied, "Absolutely. My entire personality will change as of August 1st. This was a joke, and she knew it, but at the same time, my job is different now. The responsibility of keeping our entire community safe and happy is a real one, and I feel it. I live it. I am different. I'm a Pathfinder. Karen is a Pathfinder. Ren, Nora, Shikari, John are Pathfinders. Heather, Dino, Gisela, Kwa are Pathfinders. Every single person who has ever worked within the Rainier Prep community is a Pathfinder. And so are you, if you want to be."
Thank you, Morgan. Rainier Prep now has families with students spanning senior year in high school to the newest class of 5th graders at our school. For the video portion of our program, we're featuring the Farah family, which had 3 students attend Rainier Prep at the same time. The Farah family made the choice to drive almost 45 minutes every day from their home in Renton because their mother, Denio, was able to choose her family's school. The youngest, Mohammed Farah, is the current 8th grader at Rainier Prep. His older brother Faisal just graduated from Rainier Prep last year and has joined his older sister Habak at University Prep for high school, where she's currently a junior. Because Habak is an aspiring journalist with her own published podcast through NPR's Radioactive, we thought it would be fun if Habak put her interview skills to work with her brothers to talk together about their time at Rainier Prep. By hearing more from the Farah family, I hope you'll learn what so many of our students might say about their experiences as young first-generation students, the importance of community and representation.
I've learned throughout my high school experience to value diversity more because when I was at Rainier Prep, a lot of people looked like me. Everyone, had similar stories, and I just saw it as the norm. But when you're the minority, where there are other people who have vastly different stories from you, you truly begin to appreciate how calming of an environment diversity can be.
Even though this might be like a small school, it's not a very small community. Like, it's everybody from pretty much everywhere. So this school is like a representation of like the areas, not only from Burien, but from Seattle, Renton, and all the surrounding cities and like towns.
Such a calming and caring environment. Everyone has the best intentions for you, and they're not there seeing you, as a black kid or as a Muslim kid or as, the Asian kid in the class. Everyone's just seeing you as another person who can relate to you. And I feel like that's something you guys will learn as you go on into more predominantly white spaces. You'll definitely look at your middle school years and be like, it's crazy that I never even thought about this when I was there.
What things did you pick up from Rainier Prep that you incorporated in your freshman year?
I came from Rainier Prep where there was so many people that looked like me. So many people had similar stories as me. But when I got to the school I go to right now, I felt there was a part of me that had to, adapt or code switch. And I did feel like at times there was part of me that I was losing a part of myself. Like that Rainier Prep community kind of was the grounder for me in that they kept me sane and healthy essentially as I transitioned into a new school. And for that, I'm extremely thankful. What are things that Rainier Prep taught you that you hope to carry to high school?
making sure I have all my work done, and then sort of make sure I have time to do more of the fun things, and then have time for my serious work, and then also I have time to hang out with you guys, you know? Coming into 5th grade, how's your experience compared to now, and how have you seen yourself change?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit of a troublemaker going in. My mindset on like school was a little bit more different, where like I thought I could play around a bit more. And then I realized how like serious this school was a little bit. I kind of toned it down a bit, and then I started getting more friends.
It all started off with my mom teaching me about Rainier Prep, and it sort of started becoming more of her forcing me to go to school. But then as the years started to come, I started to learn friends, learn the Rainier Prep community, and sort of see the diversity within the school, and seeing more people like me, as that sort of boosted my confidence with the way that I interact with people.
There was a moment where school kind of wasn't a chore anymore. It wasn't something that was being forced upon you, like you said. It became more of a time to go hang out with friends, time to see people you hadn't seen in a while.
I think it's good to find a good balance where you can keep yourself happy and you watch your mental health, but you can still like get work done.
As the year started to come, it switched roles. I was the one that was trying to tell my mom, oh, hurry up, let's go to school, you know, get ready. I was not sort of the person that was outgoing, outspeaking, you know. I like to work in the background, you know. That's where I felt challenged, but then I overcame it slowly, because the more projects and stuff that came where it was student-led, that you had to go up, share your presentation, the more I felt more confident.
I have seen you guys grow in so many ways, like even from elementary school to middle school. You're about to go into high school, that's crazy. But yeah, I feel like you're ready.
You're kind of our role model, and you're the one that was kind of like the guinea pig that went through this. So we got to understand like the experience at Rainier Prep and like how it's gonna go on throughout like through college and high school.
He's always been the bossy type that makes sure that we are straight up and make sure that we don't get in any trouble. And you know, for me, honestly, that benefited me because it made me want to look up to you. It made me want to be like, oh, I want to be like her. You set the tone for probably 2 of us coming into the school because you were the older one. And then we seen you do all your homework and stuff, and then it made us want to be like you more.
Eighth grade was really a important and vital part of your middle school experience, and you know, going into it, I hope you have a good year. I definitely struggled at times, and there were definitely times I had no idea what I was doing. There's definitely a lot of people that you can count on. There's like a whole support system that you sometimes don't even realize is in play. The teachers are not afraid to show how much they care, whether it be, you know, always checking in on us, and although we may see it as like nagging at times, it's really not. It's just a testament to how much they care about us and how much they want us to succeed. So I do want people to know how nurturing and how caring of an environment Rainier Prep is.
At Rainier Prep, each student develops a unique, positive sense of self and purpose, as well as a deep respect for the identities of others. We make sure not only to celebrate our students' diverse identities, but also to nurture them in meaningful and empowering ways to support everyone's learning. Throughout all classes, students critically examine social problems and work toward a more just world. As they move toward 8th grade and new high schools, they develop the knowledge, skills, and mindsets needed to continue taking actions that disrupt and dismantle racism and other inequities. Seeing Pathfinders ahead of you makes a real difference. But just as our teachers care about our students, our alums care deeply as well. Our two exceptional alum speakers exemplify the best of what our Pathfinders believe and do. Please welcome Heather Tran and Andrea Arevalos.
My name is Heather Tran, and I'm one of the founding sixth graders at Rainier Prep. I'm currently a senior at Candy Catholic High School, and I'm exploring a career in medicine. My time at Rainier Prep set the precedent for what real diversity and support should look like. When I entered Rainier Prep, I did so as an 11-year-old with a disease that had always limited me. I was never comfortable with who I was and who I could be. I felt like I was alone while dealing with my internal battles because I often only saw white physicians while at the doctor's office. I never saw people like me and never saw myself in others. But Rainier Prep served as a safe haven for me because there were people around who actually looked like me. Often, we were first-generation students, people of color, and all working towards the same thing, a college degree. We shared similar stories and aspirations, and just simply being around peers that looked like me made me feel understood. We did a lot of work in advisory groups, which are basically a tight-knit group of individuals that you could rely on and who traveled with you through that academic year. We would meet with these advisory groups daily for about 30 minutes and use that time to just simply talk about what mattered to us. We were also given the chance to voice our personal concerns and bond with each other. My sixth grade advisor still, to this day, holds a special place in my heart because I was able to truly be myself in that safe space we created as a group. I knew that anything I told this group, it would stay between us. I was able to spill whatever I wanted to this group, which enabled me to grow confident in who I was. And just that advisory time alone taught me I shouldn't be afraid of being different. Not only did I feel safe around my peers, but I also felt personally connected and supported to my teachers and mentors. In the sixth grade, my entire class was given the opportunity to participate in a wilderness camp for a few days. A few days prior, I had undergone a surgery related to my illness. Of course, I wanted to go, but I kept thinking to myself, is that even possible? I didn't want to seem like a hassle, but everyone, teachers and peers, expressed that they wanted me to be there. The whole Rainier Prep community then worked their hardest to accommodate me. My biggest support system through this obstacle had to have been the Rainier Prep staff, most notably Miss Mo and Miss Water. The entire time I was there, they continually worked with me to ensure I was having the best time I could with my limitations. That level of support I received from them, even for the simplest things, like finding me an extra chair to sit on, imprinted on me what real support should look like. They saw me for who I was, a full individual with a unique identity and unique needs. I had a community to support me while I was in a vulnerable state, and then I took the opportunity to support others at Rainier Prep and help them grow in their confidence. I recall mentoring a student named Tien during my 8th grade year. She had just come from Vietnam, and I was given the task to help her read and speak English in a paired reading class we called Reading Buddies. She came in very shy and quiet, and I could tell she was afraid of her new environment. We bonded because we were both Vietnamese and could both speak Vietnamese. That in itself was powerful in that she and I could see ourselves in each other. The impact of her first experiences in a new country and environment with someone she could personally connect with greatly impacted how both she and I grew as individuals. As the academic year went on, her English had progressed immensely, but most notably, so did her confidence. Seeing her progress as an individual gave me the satisfaction of seeing physically that I created a difference in someone's life. Mentoring Tien gave her a sense of community and support that she needed, and just as my teachers got to know me as a full person, there I was doing the same for others, and doing that worked well. I was experiencing firsthand the kind of impact that mentoring someone could have, both on me and on another person. This was where my desire to help younger individuals started to grow and take shape. This was where another chapter in my story began. Today, I'm working to be a light for those who may not get as much support as others by working towards becoming a pediatric dermatologist. My highest aspiration is one day fulfilling what I wish I had at the doctor's office, having my diverse patients be able to see themselves in me. Because of Rainier Prep, the feeling of a real diversity, representation, and community will be forever ingrained in me. Through all that Rainier Prep has given and taught me, I strive to one day be able to bring a level of comfort and support to others as Rainier Prep has done for me.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Revalos. I am one of the founding 6th graders at Rainier Prep. I currently go to Kennedy High School, and I am exploring the possibility of becoming a nurse. I remember starting Rainier Prep and quickly learning that we'd have to fight for our school. Within the very first month of the school being opened, we traveled to Olympia to rally and speak up for charter schools when they were ruled unconstitutional. At the time, I was too young to understand what rallying, petitioning, and protesting was all about. But at 11 years old, I can recall the exceptional feeling of drive and community I felt at the rallies in Olympia alongside my classmates, teachers, and family. There were people with posters that read, "Keep our schools open." And I remember thinking to myself, why would anyone want to close down a school? This importance of education was always present in my household, and from these rallies, I became aware of the importance of my own voice. As I moved forward through Rainier Prep, I learned how to think and go about forming my own opinions, but never what to think about any topic, and mainly because of Mr. Carey's 8th grade English and Language Arts class. First thing in the morning, every Friday of 8th grade, I would come into class to learn about current issues where we were offered multiple articles to form our own opinions on the topic of the week. Later, towards the end of class, when we had talked to our classmates about the issues and discussed different viewpoints, we would debate and cite our sources as we voiced our own distinct opinions. It takes significant determination and skill to assess different sources of information and to evaluate where the information is coming from. In the past couple of years, this is a skill I used quite frequently, looking up things like, what is the most efficient way to create change? Why are people invading the Capitol building? What does it take for a president to be impeached? What is COVID-19? Today, I am very passionate about people being able to assess information about the world around them. As I build my own voice, I know how to take a step back and think for myself. Don't be a squirrel is something Mr. Carey said to us on our very last day of class. What I think he meant is that instead of zigzagging from idea to idea with no purpose, we should look more deeply to understand the full scope of matter, to appreciate the potential bias around us, and to work with informed opinions that are based on real facts. For example, I have noticed that my generation is very vocal about injustices. However, we are also learning to listen, understand, and educate ourselves before calling people out for differing opinions. When the Black Lives Matter movement took on more intensity at my high school, I took it upon myself to learn more about the past and present activism of Black people in the United States. When I did my best to listen to my peers and share what I learned with my loved ones, it helped my family and my community to have another important source of information to consider other than Facebook and Univision. I am even more passionate about informing young children on the importance of building their own opinions and having the self-confidence to voice their concerns and ask questions. In order for our communities to progress, people need to have open discussions on the problems they face, but in order to start these discussions, people need to be informed and have the space and access they need to make the changes they seek. To begin that work, I plan on mentoring Rainier Prep's 8th graders this year. As a first-generation student, I have the confidence and support to follow my own dreams and aspirations, but I know that many first-generation students carry a lot of pressure to enter a certain profession without a lot of choice. As a mentor, I'll work to help students feel comfortable enough to express to me who they are and who they want to be. My goal is for them to pursue whatever they wish to do in life while learning about the world around them, all while simultaneously keeping their community and roots in mind. I want them to think for themselves, to see the real power and potential in developing their voice, just like I have been able to do.
I am so proud of our founding students, Heather, Andrea, and their classmates, who led Rainier Prep first as 6th graders and now as mentors. Many of them will be the first in their families to apply to, attend, and graduate from a 4-year college. Our students are Pathfinders because they are trailblazing equitable pathways to degrees and careers in our community. In spite of the inequitable and unjust obstacles many of them continually face as young people of color, our alums are advocating for themselves and for others. I'm excited for the day that a Rainier Prep alum will come back to our community and stand before you as our school principal, teacher, staff, or even executive director. I'm also so honored that with your financial support, we will further educational equity and expand the threshold for access in the community that raised me through our quality public middle school. To help Rainier Prep's community make the most progress in this pursuit of educational equity, we need all of us all in. We need strong advocacy in our state legislature, who has the power to institute equitable funding for our students. But until then, we need your financial support to keep the promise of providing a quality college prep education to our amazing students. This event, in support of our students, would not have been possible without our lead sponsors. Thank you to Amazon, the Patton family, the Seattle Kraken, and the Climate Pledge Arena, and our other generous sponsors. A huge thank you to our Rainier Prep board, our staff, our families, and most importantly, our students. Rainier Prep's board has without question been behind us 100% of the way, all in. You might be here because of their invitation, but also because of your friendship and common commitment to equity and education. By supporting Rainier Prep, you are also a Pathfinder. To close our time together, I'd like to invite Nashra Raman to bring home what your support really means for our future.
My name is Nashra Raman, and it is such an honor to be part of this board and work alongside our chair, Andy Jassy, and our other incredible and esteemed board members. I was welcomed to the board when Maggie was our head of school, and I'm so grateful to have had the opportunity to work with her until she passed the torch to Karen. This is such an exciting new chapter for Rainier Prep, with Karen as the school's new executive director and Morgan as the school's principal. A dream team in the making. And as Karen shared so beautifully her experience as a first-gen Latina woman, proud graduate of Rainier Scholars, Lakeside School, Scripps College, and the University of Washington with a master's in public administration, she intimately understands the issues, struggles, and challenges faced by so many of our students who are from non-majority and low-income backgrounds. There is no greater role model and pathfinder for our students. She is proof that access and equity, the fundamental missions of Rainier Prep, lead to achievement, resilience, impact, and representation, which is ultimately the goal, a society where all marginalized people have equal access to quality resources and education and are duly represented at every facet and level of society. It's also a landmark year as Rainier Prep's first entering class will be applying to college. And as we have heard from Andrea and Heather, two incredible examples of students who have taken their Rainier Prep experience and continue to strive, achieve, and grow into thoughtful, mature, motivated learners and active contributors to their communities in their own unique individual ways. I cannot personally say enough about how incredible this school is. The administration, the teachers, and the amazing staff. But as I witnessed on August 31st, which was the first day of our in-person school for the 2021-2022 school year, our students are the key. They are motivated, curious, thoughtful, industrious, enthusiastic, and eager to learn, soaking up everything around them to make the most of their opportunities. They are our true pathfinders at every junction. And when we invest in our students, and when we do this as a community and allow them to discover the resilience, strength, and confidence that arises from overcoming significant challenges as an individual within a supportive community, real change happens. And that is why I ask you to join us in making real change happen. As Karen shared, although we are a public middle school, due to our charter school status, we are not eligible for critical local property levy funds, which amount to $2,600 per student per year, and which means that we have $1 million deficit in our annual operating budget. So in order to continue and provide access to high quality, customized, equitable education to the marginalized communities that we do, and achieve the outstanding results that we are, outperforming our public school counterparts by almost double or more, we need your support to continue this pursuit of education equity. And as Karen said, we need all of us, all in. So I ask that you join me and our board to support the tireless efforts of the teachers, admin, and support staff to ensure that the individual needs of all of our 360 students are met this year as a critical investment to their bright futures, as evidenced by our amazing alums, Heather and Andrea. So I'd like to ask you to take this opportunity to show your support of our mission. There are several ways you can give: online, through text to give, you can write a check, Or if you have a donor advised fund, you can contact us at development@rainierprep.org to find out more information. The most important thing is that there are many ways to give, and we would welcome and appreciate whatever you have to offer. And to know that we so want to partner with you in our pathfinding experience and help you be part of the future of our community and of our students. Thank you so much for your time, consideration, and for most of all, your generosity. Thank you for making Rainier Prep a part of your giving and for creating impact in our community that will extend far into our future.